What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to my channel to all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time joining me on today, hello. It's here that we use information from celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves. So, if you like what you see, stick around. Stay around a little longer. Subscribe to become a part of the Astro fam and share this video. So, of course, we're going to talk about what the whole world has been talking about for the past 24 hours, and that is the strike of deliverance, the smite, the mighty blow that was distributed from actor Will Smith across the face of comedian Chris Rock. So I don't watch the Oscars, okay, but I did wake up to clips of Will Smith striking Chris Rock last night. So if you are not privy to the situation, basically Chris Rock announced, or he hosted a category for a particular award and told a joke about Jada Smith's head. She has recently cut her hair, and it was due to health reasons, right? She has an autoimmune disorder, which is very Virgo, by the way. And apparently, made the decision because her hair was falling out. And so immediately after the joke was made, everyone was laughing, including Will. But then you saw a very disturbed Jada. And in that millisecond, Will Smith pimps his ass on stage and delivers the blow of Jacob, Moses, and every other biblical figure that I can't even think of, like in the Bible right now. Because he smacked that man really hard, okay? Smacked him really hard. Now, a lot of people are shooketh. People have not seen this particular side of Will. A lot of people haven't. And of course, it's just a bunch of discussion and a lot of just conversation going on. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions on how he should have handled the situation and what should be done from here on out. But what I'm here to do is what I always do and put this situation into more of an astrological framework by delineating some of Will Smith's natal chart. So let's go ahead and get to it. So Will Smith was born on September 25th, 1968 in West Philadelphia. Born and raised on the playground is where he spent most of his days. You could tell he spent most of his days on the West Philly playground because, I heard they like to fight. But anyway, okay, this places his son at the 3rd degree of Libra. Now, here's the thing with Libra, okay? Will has a lot of Libra energy, specifically with his son conjoined to his Libra South Node in that 5th house of his. And Libra is almost always dismissed as the sign of soul passivity. And although this is partially true, Libra is in nature a more passive, accommodating sign. Libra is the peacemaker, ideally speaking. However, it really does not, it's a very thin line between Libra and that opposite polarity. Because all it takes is for a lot of Libras to really get fed up and they'll match energy. And a lot of times the way in which they switch into that Aries polarity is very abrupt and they tend to catch people off guard. And, shout out to my mentor, Rabina. She always talks about, Libra actually being a sign that represents ambush and attacks, which actually makes perfect sense. And I don't know what else you would call last night's shenanigans if not a full-out ambush, because nobody saw that coming. And that's the thing with Libra. Libra is very charming, diplomatic, very regal, especially with his son and South Node in the 5th house. You could look at the 5th house as the entertainment industry. Him having a reputation for being a socialite of sorts. These are people who can even make really good politicians, right? And they do a really good job at making things look good, right? keeping up appearances. This is such a public placement. So in a way, he was kind of always destined to live a very, very public life. And with Libra also being the sign of marriage, his marriage kind of coincides with that. His south node is at the 9th degree. And so with that in conjunction to his Libra sun, you could even look at this as the marketing of Will and Jada's relationship, and where they both have kind of merged identities in a way that, I mean, yes, it has made them really popular and very highly regarded, but it also encourages a lot of codependency. I mean, Libra South nodes, just, in general, have a lot of karmic baggage tied to partnership and marriage. A lot of these people can have a really hard time in marriages, and depending on whatever else is going on in the chart, it's not uncommon for a Libra South node to be married either several times or engaged several times or spend a lot of time pinning for that right one, right? And as a result can find themselves or in situations where, let's say they are in a relationship, they are married. A lot of times these relationships, because the South Node deals with unhealthy attachments, really, I mean, they come with some really crazy hiccups. And once again, it fosters this kind of codependent desire for a lot of Libra South nodes and suns to a degree, that they have to kind of enmesh themselves and just completely overly identify with their relationships and with their partners. And this also explains why Will is so dead set against divorce. Naturally, like I said, he does best when he is in support with someone else. And mind you, this doesn't even really necessarily have to be a super, super, super exclusive kind of traditional situation, because he and Jada have made it clear, they're married by title, but the way that their marriage actually runs is kind of different, which is a different video for a different day in terms of, discussing that. However, his South Node and Sun in the 5th house could also make it so that he's very protective when it comes to his marriage. And Will also has his Sun in opposition to Chiron. He has Chiron in Aries. He's a part of that generation. And not only could this be very symbolic of his rearing, he mentioned having a very violent father. And this, unfortunately, could be an aspect that may have put him at the brunt of a lot of his father's abuse. So you could look at the Sun in opposition to Chiron and Aries as blows, especially blows to the head, being struck. And on a karmic level, Will Smith kind of was put here to be someone who is able to fight. But it just so happens that with his Chiron and Aries as well, opposing his Sun, a lot of times it's the timing, or it's just is wrong, or it's in a very uncontrolled way, because this points towards a very traumatic kind of wound that he has, a very dysfunctional and a very devastating indentation to not only his ego, how he feels as a man. These are the type of people who can get very violent when those things are under attack. And once again, their marriage included. And so I said that to say, I don't think this is abnormal behavior for Will Smith. People just think that, because that's not what people know him to be. Once again, he has done a really good job at living in that Libra South Node, that Libra Sun South Node, where he is like this Mr. Congeniality kind of figure. But with his Sun in opposition to Chiron like that, a can of whoop ass is only a step away, a joke away, as we saw. And with Chiron being in his 11th house of Aries, this opposition to his Libra Sun can make these outbursts, I guess you could call them, a lot more unpredictable than the average person. It can make him actually somebody who, if pushed to it, can be either really violent or just someone who could be really inconsiderate or, once again, really unpredictable. They can have a really big sense of like rage or, and when you think about all those things that come with Chiron and Aries. So being really impulsive. And that's why it was just like the polar opposite of what people expected of Will, who, as a Libra sun and South Node, is normally a very calculated guy. Chiron and Aries is very animalistic. Aries is very animalistic. So, as an Aries North Node, there was just something about this situation that really brought that other polarity out of him. And Chiron could deal with where we could obviously receive wounds from other people, but where we can actually wound others. And this could manifest in a physical level. So quite literally hitting the shit out of somebody. And I mean, I thought it was so interesting because, y'all, we are in Aries season. And I believe tomorrow, transiting Sun will be conjoined to his North Node. So in a way, I think that, just the timing of this from an astrological standpoint, he was feeling a lot of that energy. Even before the transit became direct, I still feel like he was really feeling, his North Node was activating. That's all you saw. The Aries North Node activate. But once again, with his Chiron and Aries, it's going to be in a way that's very defective, very dysfunctional. Ideally speaking, as an Aries North Node, he would be better off being someone who is assertive, right? Like I said, not really afraid to get his point across and not afraid to stand on it and defend himself if need be. But I think he spent a lot of time suppressing how he feels about things. And this is something that extends all the way back to childhood for him. A lot of suppression. And he also has his Mars at the 2nd degree of Virgo in his 4th house. Mars in any mutable sign can be extremely, not only just, once again, unpredictable, but very dangerous, very volatile. And him being this way behind closed doors, but with it squaring his Gemini ascendant, I mean, it's very easy for these people to get agitated and for that side to kind of come out, to have a flip that switched. And these people can actually be very, very, once again, hot-headed. Some other things I wanted to point out in terms of Will's Libra, Sun, and South Node. He also has his Venus, but it happens to be at the 29th degree of Libra. It also explains a lot, especially in terms of the cheatations, the third party situations. And I don't even know if you would call it cheating because, once again, he and his wife have made it very clear that their relationship doesn't operate like the standard one. But, his Venus at the 29th degree can make him a cheater. And actually, I think he cheated on his last wife to be with Jada. A lot of times, because Libra is the archetype of indecisiveness on a relationship level, a lot of dark-sided Libra men can find themselves straddling the fence. One foot in one relationship and one foot in another one. Or where they always kind of have a desire to remain in touch with an ex, or the type of men to maybe not even see a divorce through because they want that. They want to be able to compare who they got to other people, but then have the luxury of like going back and still remaining in that partnership. So, I mean, yeah, that really explains a lot. These men, Libra Sun men, South Node men, can spend a lot of time with women, but something about his relationship with women, his relationships in general, could be, once again, very defective or very off. I would even say that that could even have some implications on his sexuality. But once again, different video for a different day, guys. So to sum things up, this Libra sun in opposition to Chiron and Aries can make a person very confrontational, violent, impulsive, which we were able to witness in Will Smith last night. Typically, it could also produce a person who may have streaks of selfishness. Something else I also found to be interesting was that with Will's Mars in that fourth house of Virgo and Aries in his 11th house, this could absolutely symbolize, and I think they're quincunxing one another, if I'm not mistaken, the Mars in the North Node, where it could be very tricky for him to get along with some of his peers. This quite literally could translate into fighting, maybe a friend or fighting somebody with whom you work with. And this is also echoed by Saturn and Aries. Will is also a part of that Saturn Aries generation. And once again, these are people who could, and this actually makes me believe everything that Aunt Viv, the first Aunt Viv, was saying when she went on that tour, that media tour, where she was talking about how effed up Will was behind the scenes and just competitive. And it could also even give him this kind of narcissistic streak. And I actually kind of feel sorry for his kids, because he's probably really hard on his kids too. But once again, neither here nor there. But it does explain a lot in regards to, what we saw. So yeah, I think I'm going to end on that note for now. I might come back, make a part 2. I might not. It just depends on what other aspect I decide to touch on. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this whole situation. And what do you think about Will Smith's chart? And I'll holler at y'all in the next video. Bye.